would start with the phone call. You know how I told you that what I was going to do first.
You gonna come visit me, and then I heard we said you gonna come visit me, and then last night I was it's like I was going up in the sky in the universe, being lighting and stuff in the sky in the universe. I felt myself coming back inside my body, and I heard you saying something, and I heard you say something, you know, like Malachi, you were saying something, and I heard you saying some other stuff. You know, I was hearing you talking and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you know, seeing the flashes and stuff in the universe, and then I felt myself come back inside my body and stuff.
What I actually did is I was saying that we got to get together and unify our minds for good purposes, help and heal and raise each other, and we have to free Malachi. And I had, when I took us up and looked back down and see Earth, and I also told you all that in a few minutes I'm going to have you slide back down the tube into your body comfortably, and you all going to wake up refreshed and energized, and remember what we did, and then give me a phone call. So when you woke up, what did you do immediately?
I gave you a phone call.
And that's right, exactly. And what did you say?
Did you come visit me last night?
That's right, and I had come visit you. So you did remember. So you see that this is awe-inspiring, and it's just the beginning, a door opening, you know, a leading to. We're starting to remember who and what we are, and it's just ego to know that you're God. But our real goal is, as to evolve and deal with the jazz of the divine incarnated in flesh, is to start applying, in other words, doing the things that God does, right?
Right.
So that we can work together in unity to uplift our people and try to help raise the 144,000 like I was instructed to by Malachi. Well, I love you and thank you for your time, Mike, and of course you'll be the first one to receive this CD. And yes, we did get the paperwork out the Macon courthouse.
Okay.
All right.
Love you too.
Love you too. Yeah. Well, when I come into rooms with people, a lot of times, when I generate that green light, I line up your chakras. You know, first, second, like the first wheel spinning to the right, second to the left, and it's like sparkles starting with y'all's toes. That's what I do, Mike and Mike. And I work all the way to y'all whole body is covered up with green light. And you become the green light. Even your eyes are green, and you're surging with it. And it starts sparkling and radiating until it's like the whole room is like lightning with green, it's like flashing with the green light, like lightning. Yeah. Now, Mike Mumford, if you could go ahead, and because that's Mike Rappin, this is Mike Mumford, so it's two different Mike. And as loud as you can, Doc.
All right, mine happened about 2 days ago. Actually, told me you could come visit me as far as it happened. And actually, I forgot about it. I went to bed listening to the Amun CD you made me, and wasn't even thinking about visiting at all. Just went to sleep. I remember traveling with you, myself, and I remember some women with us. I do remember hearing we were following you. I was getting real tight, get something to calm down.
That's right.
But every time you mention Malachi, cloud, when I was on the cloud, I kept seeing green light, such a green light. I kept getting excited, get telling me to calm down. And
I remember that, Mike. I was telling you to calm down.
And of course, you know, when I get back in my body, as soon as I got up, I was real excited. I really felt a lot about it. I remember, man, I just said it was a complete bug. Then I started calling. I looked at the time, and it was like 2:36 in the morning. And so I'm calling first thing in the morning, but I really felt, I knew what it was.
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is that I had just got through doing it. That was fresh right there. If you'd have called me, I was still woke. I just brought you back.
You know what? Also, I was on too last night
Okay. Well, then y'all see that is the universal sound that brings you there.
Yeah, but this is the first time,
No, it's not the first time I come to see you. I come to see you one time in the daytime when you was driving the car from Cleveland.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
This is the first time. Something happened, like, you know, door down, and then the bed was shut down, and you had to turn it down through.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
That's right. And we're evolving. Now, we have to do is now start learning how to use this as tools and to work together. And I think our biggest main project right now is to get the master teacher out right now. In fact, I got somebody in the Macon Federal Courthouse right now that just received some paperwork that nobody else could get. And so y'all let me get back to work so I can get this mailed over to Waukee and them right now. But I love y'all, man. Peace.
Dream that I had was I had a visit, and she was giving me some instructions. But as I went to walk away from her, and behind me, I heard your voice call.
That's right.
And I had talked with you and told you that I heard your voice, but when I called you the next day, and before I could tell you that, you told me you heard my voice last night, didn't you?
That's right.
Yeah.
Now let me. Yeah, let me try to explain to people what's going on here. Is that I've been speaking to you all about out-of-body experiences and about traveling out of your body, going up through the vortex. Well, I've been coming to certain ones of you brothers and sisters. I've been coming to certain ones of you all, and taking you up that tunnel. And some of you I've just been visiting, like my mother, for healing. My best to bring them to the master, to Al-Qadar. All right, but what I've been doing right now is it's been so vivid that I made up my mind to start calling people's name very clearly. Like the brother that just spoke, I said to him, when I saw him, I said, Harry Johnson, this is me, Brother Ahmed, C. Shat, Darrensburg, Larry Darrensburg. I'm here with you, you're with me, and I want you to remember me calling your name and call me on the phone tomorrow to confirm that you heard me call you. And that was late in the morning, and then first sun in the morning, Harry called me up very excited. He said, Ahmed, I heard you call me, call my name in your dream, in my dream. And I said, it wasn't a dream, Harry. I was there. It wasn't a dream. And I've had several other brothers and sisters call me with the same thing. And certain brothers and sisters that I've grown kind of close and caring about, certain people that I've been going, they've been calling me and letting me know that they hear my voice. One was this morning. I went last night to a brother that's in the Waukee, and he's well known to most of you all. And he called me up early this morning, all excited. He said, very sharp and vivid, you came and got me last night. You came and got me last night. And I said, that's right, I definitely sure did. I remember it very clearly. And he said, you was taking me up somewhere. I said, yeah, I was taking you up. We was going up through the tunnel, going to the Crystal City, to Al-Hayu, the light giver, to the light, to get you realigned with the light. He said, and you look like he was taking me to, I said, yeah, the green one, that's right. And he said, as we were going up, he said, I saw the clouds lightning flashing green. The clouds were green, it was flashing green light. I said, no, that wasn't in the clouds, because what happens when I come to some of you all, like my mother, for example, when I'm directing the green light through you, it's so strong the way I have it pulsing like that, till I have the actual room that you're in flashing green, just sparkling and flashing like lightning, green light inside the room you're in. That's what that is. That's where he saw that lightning flashing green at. And he was supposed to be here tonight also to tell you all, and a sister too. But some people, in other words, it's going to start coming together. Now, the importance of it is not to show that I can do a parlor trick. But the importance of it is for you all to know that the being inside of you is the real reality, and the greater reality is inside, and that you have to start learning how to apply and how to utilize that inside of you to travel, to heal one another at great distances, and to communicate, read auras, do remote viewing, and things like that. And for example, to put a unified mind together to spiritually free the master teacher, teacher for the actual rate. And these things are important. Remember that we're not going to overcome the beast by throwing rocks at tanks. He's a master of the physical plane. So your power's in the spiritual realm, and stay cognizant of that. I also want to let you all know that I really enjoyed the last class, the level of the intensity, the depth that you all went to as far as dealing with the third eye and some of the ultimate realities of it. In fact, I was so inspired by you all's question that tonight I'm going to walk through the Wisdom of Tahuti in the chapter titled The Middle Universe. Now, that Right, who's this? Hello, how you doing, Darryl? You have a question?
No, sir, I'm just trying to get back in the woods on my mind.
Okay, very good. Very good. I'll be coming to you tonight.
All right.
All right. Okay, now, let's get started with that first question.
Brother Ahmed.
Yes.
Before we get to that first question, I got a experience I want to share. This is Jared from Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, I had it was Monday night. I stayed up real late, so I had a dream like Tuesday morning. I stayed up late and I was reading the tablet. And then when I went to bed, it was probably like 3 in the morning. I felt myself like go out of my body. I don't know if it was like a full, people call it a full out of body experience, but like, cause I couldn't. I remember I tried to look back at myself.
Yeah.
But I couldn't look back at myself. But I remember you had mentioned that, and people in my family would have had the out of body experiences where they looked at themselves, but I couldn't look at myself. But I felt myself go out of my body, and then I kept hearing these machines. My head was like vibrating.
No, you really did. No, you were not your body. When you hear those machines, it's like locks, like bam, bam. They be like popping, like opening up big giant doors of machinery, right?
Yeah, man.
Like tide locks or something like that. That's what that is. Like hatches popping in the machinery, right?
Yeah, that's the first time it ever happened to me.
No, yeah, see, that's what these classes are doing, because I have to make sure that you all are inspired to wake up to the reality that is first of all possible, and that it is not only a reality, but the ultimate reality, and that inner reality is where this illusional, substantial reality came from that absolute reality there. Yeah, that's right. Those machines, those levels, as it pops open the gates, going from one plane as it ascends up the light cord of the spine, which is Jacob's ladder, spiritually described.
Yeah. And what else happened? Like, cause I've been going in classes for like a couple weeks. I've been busy with like school stuff. But I thought I'd call in tonight and make sure I share that. But what else happened? Like, I remember I felt like in my room, like I was walking around. But I was trying to hit the light switch, and like it wouldn't turn on.
Yeah, because you didn't have a physical. You didn't have your hands not physical.
Yeah.
Right. No, you had. When you said about the machine, son, nobody can make that up. I understand what you said. Now it's important to remember, all of you, when you have out of body experiences, as the master teacher taught, Nietzsche for the Asaru and teaches, that is extremely important for you to remember to wake up in the dream, or what you think is the dream state. To wake up there and be fully conscious. Because when you're there, that is the reality on that vibration, and this, what you're calling the reality, is only the dream.
Let's wake up there, huh?
Yes.
Wake up there, you won't stay there, though, huh?
No, not then. No, you won't stay then. Because the difference is that sleep and death are brothers and sisters, in as much as that the etheric cord, which is a thin, transparent, hollow tube about the diameter of the thread that's attached to the crown mold on the top of your head, like it is to the umbilical cord that attaches the baby to the walls and uses to the mother. And when you travel up out of that from the ball of light with the spiritual essence of you, where it's concentrated, travels up the light cord of the spine and gets to the mouth of that etheric tube, and since that raises up in vibration, causes the tube to expand at the opening, or the vortex to open, like a woman dilating to give birth, and that light travels inside the tube, and then you have an out-body experience, or astral flight. Whether you look down at your body or not, it'll never look back at you. The point is that when you get through with that sensation of flying and floating that dream, when you feel like you're starting to fall and you get scared, what you're actually doing is sliding back down the tube and popping back into the body. Now, when you say stay there, the difference would be is when the Etherians come, like in physical childbirth, Terry, and they cut the cord so that you can't slide back down the tube back into the body and reanimate the flesh. That's the difference. But sleep and death are identical in every other sense.
But wake up in out of mind, another place. Wake up in a dream over there. What happens to you on this side?
Well, no. What it is that you're going to be wherever your mind is. Where you at? Have you ever stood in front of one of your children and you kept trying to get their attention and talking to them, and then all of a sudden you just get mad when you realize, you say to them, "Look, I don't know where your mind is, but you better focus on what I'm talking about right here." Because they might physically be standing in front of you, but mentally they're somewhere else on the other side of town, like some women speak about men and so on. Your body's here with me, but your mind's on the other side of town, or the reverse. Men speak about women and so on, right? So you are where your mind is, Terry. But there's no danger in it if that's what you're asking me.
Right. They wake up on a dream and go somewhere else and sleep. They probably got pictures.
Wake up in the dream and be cognizant, be conscious of your surroundings, and do your best to remember your association, the people that you meet, and how you interact with them, etc. The trees that you see, that if you go to different worlds or meet people that you have yet to meet, or if you experience something that's going to happen in the future and hasn't happened yet, it could be a timely warning from your oversoul. Are you following me? Because what happens actually in the dream state is that's the spirit's way of giving you, for example, different scenarios of what the possible physical outcome might be, so that you would have a chance to avert, obstacles or change something around for the benefit of your future. You follow me? Because a lot of you have laid down and had a dream, and then maybe a week or two later something played out on the physical plane in front of you again, and you told the person next to you, man, I dreamed this about a week ago. So it's not just memory, because a person can't remember the future. It is the spiritual realm is very real, and you have to learn how to use that aspect of your being as a tool. It's more important than the physical, temporal abode that you're in right now, because that body has a beginning within, and with every second that passes, you're passing continuously further away from birth and closer to what you call the grave, while the being inside of you is moving from body to body and lifetime to lifetime. The eternal you, the bigger you inside the temple, which is placed on the side of your head next to your ear, right? And eyes are the soul. Next question. Are you satisfied with that, Terry?
Yes.
Okay. Next question.
I have a question.
I'll do my best.
I was on the computer today, and I was listening to some wu-nuwaupu information. It was saying something about illegal.
Yeah.
How it is making a collective species to make Homo sapiens.
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to be like, it took like hundreds and hundreds of years of process.
Well, what it took was 600 years for the whole project, right? It took 100 years for gathering, and it took 400 years for the genetic completion of the genetic work aspect of it, then another 100 years for education, right? And what he said, Enki, well, he was one of the sons of Anu, or the Most, or what you refer to as the Most High. Enlil, also one of the sons of the Most High, right? Who's titled Anu, or Heavenly One. And it was acting as part of the team of scientists that collected the species of Homo erectus here on the planet Earth. The reason their motivation was is that from their whole planet, a planet called Risk in the 19th galaxy of Ilium, which is the galaxy right after the 18th galaxy, was the Milky Way that we live in, right? Okay, is that on that planet, that is the tri-solar system, that what happened by the ozone layer was depleted by a plutonium bomb by a disagreeable being at that time. And what it was allowing the ultraviolet rays from the trip star suns to come down and put its damaging effects onto the planet Risk in the same way that the ozone layer that's opened up over the continent of Australia is causing a great deal of problems here on the planet Earth, especially with Canaanites, the malignant melanoma, etc., and problems like that with the ultraviolet radiation. Now, what happened was, well, Melanite children can. You can because you have sun heat genes.
But okay, if you got sun heat genes, then how come our skin burns ultraviolet?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't burn. Your skin doesn't burn. You might get darker in your complexion, but you don't actually get sunburned at all. Not at all.
Oh, okay.
When was the last time? You hear what I'm saying? And that brings us to the Draco constellation, where some of these other beings are from, where you get the name, the root of the word Dracula, right? Because what happens when the Draco or the serpent seed get out into the sun is that what happens to the vampire when the sun rises? symbolically.
Burned us.
That's exactly what happens to white people when they get into the sun with the ultraviolet rays. They burn up, they get sunburn, and the malignant melanoma kills them, and it kills them the same way the sun kills the Dracula, right, or the dragon, the great serpent that fell from the sky, from the Draco constellation. This is just sometimes fiction is stranger than truth, and a lot of times people tell truth in story, right? Okay, but getting back to your first question is that after they gathered the species of Homo erectus, Australopithecus, etc., or the great apes at that time, because what it was is that the workload that they had was their endeavor to collect a new gold here in large quantities on the planet Earth. They were mining for that and then take it back in cylinder-shaped craft all the way back to the planet Earth in order to create a gold dust to overlay or sprinkle into the atmosphere over where the atmosphere was ruptured or where the hole was, right? And to have it light enough to stay suspended in space as dust, right? Because the properties of gold are such that they reflect sunlight.
I never did know what that gold was about.
That's what it was. And when they put the gold dust into the air, to have it suspended up there in the atmosphere, it would act as a sort of a bandage over the atmosphere and reflect the excessive ultraviolet ray. When it got the right content, the right density of it, that it would have the planet back to and cool and back to the livable condition that it was before the ozone layer was erupted, you see. But what happened is that here on Earth, the Anunnaki that was sent here in order to perform that mission was such evolved and intellectual and supreme beings that they really groaned under the physical workload of it, digging the canals and mining the gold, etc., the process, and they ultimately rebelled and threw down all their tools. And just at the same time that the Watchers demanded that the count of the gold not be diminished at all. So you had an immovable object run into irresistible force. It was a problem. And that's why when the Sister Ninti and Inky and you know, some of the Ariska Gale and Nargal and some of the Sharafter, some of the scientists got together and they wanted to solve this problem, in which Inky came up with the solution of one of the sons of Anu, that such a creature, that they needed somebody else to perform the workload, right? And that such a creature already existed here, and that's when they put set their sights on the already existing higher primates. Right, and that's where you get the word mates from, and prime means excellent, like prime mates, okay?
Oh.
All right, and they looked at the Australopithecus again, and the great apes, such as the orangutans, the lares, the chimpanzees, right? And they gathered that species, again, it took 100 years for that, and they took them to certain laboratories like Shifty, Sidonia, and Mars, where you have the face of the atom on the Mars landscape, and the planet Sidonia next to the five-sided pyramid complex city, right? And also on the Giza Plateau here, and on the dark side of the moon, we also had laboratories set up where they conducted the in vitro fertilization by taking the egg of the ape woman and placing it inside the mother Ninti, etc., and then combining that with the team of the Saru or the DNA of Gastu, one of the Anunnaki. You know, if they went into the bone marrow, they get the DNA from a very intelligent Anunnaki to mix with that and to come up, you know, ultimately with the Homo sapien, and that was supposed to be created in the image and likeness that would be intelligent enough in order to go and mine the gold. That's what the project was, and that's how that they.
Way before Adam, right?
Well, that's what that is the Adam project. You see, so when you go into Genesis, a generation of listen, that was the Anunnaki, the extraterrestrial race of Anunnaki. So when you go into the first chapter of the Holy Bible, in Genesis, on the generation of Isis, right? What it really says is when it opens up and it said, God said, let us create man in our image and our likeness. That was because it was from an extraterrestrial race of beings, not a singular God.
Right.
Okay?
But, I mean, did Adam children mind the goat?
I'm sorry?
Did Adam's children?
Many of them did. Adam and Eve had 22 children. You know, and some of them did and some of them didn't. They went to the gold mines in Monte Rhodesia, Mount Dapa, right? Some of them did and some of them didn't. Yes. Oh, you remember, huh? You were there, huh? Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you did remember. At some level of your consciousness. We were always there. When they laid the foundations for the pyramids and started the stars across the skies, you were there. Because
I remember Rhodesia, Mount Dapa. There's a Rhodesia is the current name, right?
Yes.
It used to have an ancient
Modern day Zimbabwe.
name, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Who was the ancient name?
Monodapa.
Oh, okay, okay, I get it.
Uh-huh. Next question. I'm going to the book of Tahuti, right, to the middle universe. The name of Papa. Amun, the middle universe. The universe is middle and physical, telling the mind of all which are in all, right? Now, to me, this is a very special chapter because as I reflect back on my childhood, I know when my mother and I and my brother, we left New Orleans and moved to Saginaw, Michigan. I was about 7 years old, and I was sitting in the living room watching the old black and white TV while my mother, very, very spiritual woman, was washing dishes in the kitchen. And I noticed when I turned, I saw a big, beautiful blue, bright aura all around her, especially intense around her head as she sung the gospel. And I was inspired to walk over to her. And I looked up at her, and I told her, I said, Mama, and one day everybody's going to have real big heads, and this is a thought world right here. She just looked at me and smiled. She said, okay, babe, you know. But, yeah, I was very serious about this being a thought world. And I had just had an out-of-body experience with extraterrestrial encounter over at my grandmother's house. I know this sounds like fascinating stuff, but a lot of you all have suppressed memories about interaction with these beings, which in some cases is your family, right? Because some of you here are Jabberians or belong like Jesus to both worlds, right? Okay, the all is physical and all is spirit. But what is spirit? There are many degrees of vibrational modes to spiritual existence or spirit being. This question cannot be answered by just saying the spirit is this or that, body or exoplasm. The reason is that its definition is practically that the all is a form of God, which cannot be explained or defined in religion or faith, but science is the key. Spirit is simply a name that mortals give to the highest conception of infinite living mind. Okay? So are we clear that spirit is actually infinite living mind? Because first there's the thought that creates the energy that acts upon and shapes the matter, right? And we know that matter and energy are interchangeable. For example, can anybody explain that to me? Give me an example. If you have a cigarette, it's matter, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, but once you light the cigarette, the light... Terry, the example I used is that anything that you can conceptualize, you can visualize, actualize, materialize, and thereby realize. An example was a solid cigarette that when you light it, the heat and light become two forms of energy, so you convert the matter into energy. And that all energy is a slowed down thought, and all matter is a slowed down energy, right? And that they're all interchangeable. That's how it's a thought world. And an example I gave is that sometimes a man might meet a woman or the reverse, and then there's a regular conversation, but you pick up certain vibes that's directed toward you, and nobody else in the room senses it, but you feel a pleasant feeling and attraction toward that person because of the vibrations that you pick up, right? Or the negative example is that you had a disagreement with somebody you sit next to, and then you get up and say, all right, nigga, I feel you now. I didn't say nothing, man. I ain't said nothing. Look, that's all. I feel you now. Because thoughts have substance. Is everybody with me?
Yes.
And then I gave this example that I know that everybody's got to remember because you're going to have to use this for people. Your Reverend Deacon Portland Pastor Fried Chicken always speak biblically about faith being the substance of things so forth, the evidence of things yet unseen. Through faith to understand the world was formed by the word of God, so the things that are seen were not made by things which do appear. I gave you the example that if you wanted a car, you would visualize it the day that you really believed it and knew it for a fact is when the car appeared or incarnated, because it was through faith and your belief in it that you created something in the visual cortex of your mind that apparently came true. That's how you got the car. And then Reverend Rib going on further by saying, through faith we understand that the worlds were formed by the word of God, so the things that are seen were not made by things which do appear, meaning that when you see the sun, moon, and stars, or the hand on the end of your arm or your feet, those things were created by the word of God. Now, if we go out and everybody points to the sun and the moon and the stars as physical examples of what we can see, that was created or made. My question was there anybody here that could point to the creator of it and say, there he goes, or there she goes, there's the creator? And your response was no. We can't see the creator, but we can only see the creation. The next question was, logically, which is realist in your mind, the creation or the creator of it, the maker or what he made? And your response again was correct in saying that it was the maker that was realer than what was made, and the creator was realer than the creation. And I said, of course, because you can have a creator without a creation or a maker without a made, but you can't have the reverse. Now, but by that affirmation, we had went a step further and said that if indeed, and it is factual, that the creation is visible, but the creator of it, please hit star 6 and stop talking to your woman. We don't need to hear what's going on in your house.
We didn't know they just got on.
Okay. I love you, man. Okay, just hit star 6 on the phone.
I will.
All right. Okay, so by that affirmation, we know that you can see the creation, and you can see what was made, but you can't see the creator of it, and you know that the creator is realer than the creation. So by that affirmation, what you just affirmed is that the unseen is much realer than the seen. So that I went on and said the parts of you that I can't see are much realer than the parts of you that I can see. And the example I gave, or was about to give, was a simple substance like water at room temperature, an example of angels ascending and descending up and down Jacob's ladder, as water at room temperature is a liquid. But when you slow down the vibrations of it and put it in freezing, and then it slows down and solidifies into a solid that you call ice, or you take the water and put it in a pot under a high fire, and it starts vibrating very fast and rotating, it converts the liquid into a gas that you call steam, and if left long enough, it eventually converts into an ether, where you say there's nothing in the pot, that is empty. There's nothing in the pot, Zishat. And I say that there's no way that you can get nothing from something. It's only energy in transit. So if you turn the fire off and let the room cool, that the water will condensate as droplets of moisture on the ceiling that you could conceivably collect in the glass, place back into the freezer, slow down the vibrations, and turn it back into a solid again. Thus, you have an example of angels ascending and descending up and down Jacob's ladder or the spinal column, as Joseph saw in the dream, right? Or going from the spiritual realm to the physical realm, incarnate like Gabriel did when he went in unto Mary in the form of a well-made man with Hail Mary and lifted a robe, right? Or the examples of Gabriel, the same one, incarnate from Mustafa Muhammad Ali. Is everybody with me? Because it's closer to the source. In other words, when you start dealing with the creation, there's certain things that there's certain gaps that can never be breached. All right, there's certain definite points or markers that are distinguishing. For example, one of the most relevant differences is that everything that was made or created has a beginning and a what? But the Creator has neither beginning or ending. Are you following me? So now I'm not saying that gas is the creator, or ether, but I'm saying it's closer to the middle than, say, for example, the ice cube. That's exactly right. But they're all middle. In other words, they're all a product of thought, except that some are closer to the actual source, the state of pure creation. You see, the only place that you can really create things is mentally. Is everybody aware of that? Right. And the physical plane is just something that's probably manifest for others to prove your thoughts by, or to experience them. In other words, ultimately, there's only one of us here. And what we did is, as the all, or as as supreme consciousness, we were just divine love, and we knew that we were omnipotent, we knew we were omnipresent, we knew that we were everywhere at one time, that we could do anything at all. We knew that, but not through experience. In other words, we all know that the Creator is divine love. That's a fact. But there's a difference between knowing that you're divine love and actually living an example where you have the opportunity to experience applying that, like to a child, divine love, unselfish divine love, like many of you do here in this class when you have patience to let your brother, your sister speak. Are you following me? You're showing that Aisa, that divine love. You follow me? And so what it is that as the ultimate creator of all, I would suggest that what you contemplated on is trying to really discover your own nature and analyze yourself, which was hard to do from your own mind, in the same way that you was being created in the image and likeness of the source, really being the child of the source, in the sense that he or she merely shares, or rather she merely shares, and we become. Is that when I see you, I see the Father. Is that if I ask you to analyze the way you think using your own mind, you would be confused immediately by that. You want me to use my mind to figure out how I think? You feel me? Are you following me, right? So ultimately, what you did is you contemplated this for aeons, for longer than the age of the universe times the age of the universe, and ultimately decided to divide your consciousness up into units that you would call spirit beings and angelic beings. But then you immediately erased the memory of who and what they really are from them, so that in essence they could reemerge or evolve or grow back up in all, as part of all, unconscious, and from the bottom up start analyzing and figuring out. In other words, their search was inevitably for the source and for the creator, trying to discover who he was. And at the end of the journey, at the seeker's journey, what they discover is that the creator they're looking for is them. The helping arm they're looking for is on the end of their own arm. But what they have gained is the practical experience by having the opportunities to show that they are courageous, and that they are persevering, and that they are patient, and that they're generous, and that they're all these qualities. You follow with me? Not just knowing it, but actually having the experience of it then. So then they, man, know thyself. All right. Okay. I'm doing my best to generate questions. So does anybody have any questions right now? Okay, moving on into the wisdom of Tahuti. All right. Spirit is simply a name that mortals give to the highest conception of infinite living mind. It means the real essence. It means living mind, as much superior to life and mind as we know them, as the latter are superior to mechanical energy and matter. Spirit does not transcend our understanding. Spirit is us, just as matter is us, and the emotional us is soul. And we use the term merely that we may think or speak of the all as other than us. That's what when I said divided ourselves to create a sense of here and there, and the space in between, or nowhere, or the realm of opposites, or universe, as the master teacher Nietzsche referred to after we pointed out, una meaning one, like in Spanish uno and French un, and verse means against, like Fraser versus Ali. Universe means against oneness, right? Because, ultimately, the example is, as given by the master teacher Nietzsche referred to after me, is that again, and I want y'all, I repeat these things for clarity. If you have a 200-watt light bulb in a dark room on a lamp, and then you cover it up with a black lampshade, and tape it, it's still, when you close the door, if there's 9 people in the room, it's pitch black, they can't see their hand before their face. But if you invite them all to take a needle and stick a hole in the lampshade, every point of light that streams out of the lampshade, you can say, this is me, this is her, this is him, and when you see me, you see the Father. I'm the light, I'm a God, I'm a child of God, because you got that heavenly light. But the illusion is that you're him and her, and you're here, I'm over here, she's over there. That's the illusion, because and that's substantial reality. But the ultimate reality is that there's only one light bulb. You see, so what I am saying is that we all know that there's a sun inside of us, a 9 etheric sun inside of all of us, in our solar plexus, as above, so below, the sun in the solar system, and the atom beneath has the core at the center of it, which is the father of energy with electrons revolving around, making a microcosm of the solar system. And you have your circulatory system that revolves around the central sun that makes you maintain a constant body temperature 98.6. When you exercise, you burn calories. The person supposedly dies, the pilot light of fire goes out, so the core temperature of the body drops, right? Well, that light that's inside of you is the same one inside of me. It's not you have your light and I have mine. That's why Nietzsche referred after me taught many years ago that you are the center of all creation and all things are equal distance from you. And he said the same thing in reference to each and every one of us. Now, if a person was really thinking about what he said, that could have caused them to be confused if they thought of their sheath or their synthetic body as the them. Are you following me? As if you thought about the illusory self as the real you. How is it that she's the center of existence and I'm the center of existence? She lives 1,000 miles away from me. It's because the light bulb, because the illusion is that she's that light pin light hole over there, and you're the other pin light hole on the other side. But the reality ultimately is that there's only one light bulb, and it's in the center, and it's not moving. Are you following me?
Yeah, you gotta remove the lampshade. Right?
Yeah, we'll remove the lie, the illusion, right? Because the lampshade, the pinholes is what creates the illusion of separateness, of you and me and here and there, or now and then. But ultimately, the master is trying to teach us something very profound here, and that is that all of us are the center of existence. Understand me? All right, if you're the center and I'm the center, and you and Louise, you're in Baton Rouge, you're in New Orleans right now, and I'm in Georgia, that would be a source of confusion for a person that didn't understand. Okay? All right, the all is the son of all. Listen to that. The all is the son of all. For the purposes of thought and understanding, we are justified in thinking of spirit as infinite living mind, at the same time acknowledging that we can't fully understand Ka spirit, Ba soul, and Cat body. We must either do this or stop thinking about the matter at all, because all things that matter have spirit, and if it cares, it has soul. Let us now proceed to a consideration of the nature of the universe as a whole and in its parts. What is the universe? We have seen that there can be nothing outside of all, right? In other words, it would no longer be. How could there be anything outside of all? By definition, you can't add to it, because where would you get it from? And you can't take away, because where would you put it, right? So what happens is that if you have anybody that's of the mentality that they're not part of the all, and there's some unique nigga doing their own thing, and they're not part of all, what they're actually doing is thinking themselves out of existence, because there's no such person and no such place in actuality. Are you following me? And so they'll eventually go the way of the dinosaurs, okay? Then, is the universe all? No, but it's the all. As you are a universe. What does he mean by you are a universe? Can anybody give me an example of that?
Y'all are a universe?
Yes.
If y'all part of that, because y'all one with all, right?
Exactly. I think an example would be a raindrop. That would be a universe to the microorganisms that live in it. Is everybody with me?
Right.
But then what happens when the drop is reunited with the ocean?
Not one again.
That's exactly right. But the universe cannot be all, because the universe seems to be made up of man-made particles of matter and it's constantly changing. And in other ways, it does not measure up to the ideas that we are compelled to accept regarding all, as stated in our last degree. And water is a good example, because all drops of water are actually from the ocean, as you know, through the clouds raising up to evaporate from the oceans through heat and transference, and the clouds ultimately blow over the land that they create the inward lakes and rivers and tributaries and snow and etc. Right? And then what happens is that runs off the mountains and the lakes and the tributaries and empties back into the oceans again. So even though they create the illusion that all the water on Earth is separated, it's actually all connected, isn't it? One water.
Right.
Yes, because it's all connected together by lakes and tributary streams like veins, arteries, and the rain. Okay?
When you said the all, the son of all, son with the S-U-N.
Yeah, well, that's S-U-N, or S-O-N. They're doing that to confuse you in the same way when you say as above, so below. The sun above you is the same as the sun in your solar plexus. That's why it's called the solar system. Or the atom beneath you, again, is a microcosm of the solar system. But when they say atom, they spell it A-T-O-M instead of A-D-A-M, but whether it's above or below, it's the same thing, right? Because everything is created in the image and likeness of the same model of the creator, the source, right?
When we say
son of water and all that.
Wait 1 second, Doc. Let Terry finish it, please, and I'll be right with you.
Son, when you say the son is the son of all, I mean all the son of all.
Yes, the all is the son of all. In other words, you're a definite article. When you say the son, as opposed this one as opposed to that one. You know, one pin light hole in the lamp.
Right.
And all is the light bulb, right, or the source. In the same way, again, that I would ask you to write a story. And then when you write a story called Hansel and Gretel with 22 different characters in it, I'm going to use the same example. And when you get through, you say, I'm finished with my story, C-Shat. And I say, well, where did all of your characters get their spirit, their animation, and their thoughts from? And you say, well, what would the answer be?
The writer.
From you. You're the author. So it appears that you have this woman and this crazy man and this drunk Indian and etc. All these different personalities and different people inside your book, 22 different people. They're actually, in reality, just 22 different expressions of one mind. They're all you. And that's the way that they would be the all, and you as the author would be all of them combined. And what happened is that, are you with me, Terry? So what happened is ultimately when you separated yourself as all, you know, and to try to rediscover, to try to analyze yourself from the bottom up, or to discover your true nature, when you separated yourself, you dismembered yourself. In other words, you took the whole apart mentally, you know, like the arm over here, leg over, like you have body members, right?
Right.
All right. Now, so what we're trying to get you to do with this right knowledge and sound right understanding is to remember yourself, or put the whole back together again. Are you following? Me?
Right. Okay.
See, and that's what remembering is, to remember yourself. Now, what would be the advantage in that? Well, the disadvantage is in thinking of yourself as one of the characters in the story, or a pin light in the lamp, is that if you're a character in the story, do you have any control of what happens on the next page?
No, you don't.
No, only if you're the character. So you have to raise your conscious level up and reestablish your connection and remember that you're the whole, that you're all the characters combined, that you're the author, and only then do you have control of what happens the next day or on the next page. And that's what God is, right? In control. Is everybody with me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now the other brother from Detroit, you had a question.
Oh, you answered it.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do this again. Let us now proceed to a consideration of the nature of the universe. You see what I mean? The nature of the universe as a whole and in its parts, right? What is the universe? We have seen that there can be nothing outside of all. That's right. This is the universal all. No. Then is the universe all? No, but it's the all, as you are a universe. But the universe cannot be all, because the universe seems to be made up of man-made particles of matter and is constantly changing. And in other ways, it does not measure up to the idea that we are compelled to accept regarding all, as stated in our last degree. Then if the universe be not all, but in all, then it must be something or things as it is. Such is the inevitable conclusion of the mind at first thought, and has been proven. But this will not satisfy the question, for we are sensible of the existence of the universe, and that tells us that it's the all, not all. It's the all, not all. Then if the universe is the all and not all, nor nothing but something, what can it be? Let us examine this question. Because we know, is there one universe? Or is there a multiplicity of universes as far as parallel existences, etc.? And at the same time, we know that there are at least 19 universes that we know of as taught by the Master Teacher, which 7 of, as on this side of the wormhole, of which this universe that we in is the smallest and central one of 7, right? Right.
T-Shot,
Yes.
I got a question.
I'll do my best.
All right, here we go. Now, I got the book, the Jehovah's book in front of me, right?
Page 103.
Right, I'm on it. But it got capitalized the all and not all.
Okay.
But we know that
Wait a minute.
all is...
Okay, I apologize. That's typographical. That's a typographical error.
Now, I've been reading this for a good minute.
I know, but now you understand. It's just a typing error.
There you go.
You see, but see, that means that you're waking up because you noticed it.
Yeah, I've been doing this.
Error that has the all and all as a capital A, and all with a small a. And that would be disturbing in the same sense as when you look in the Bible, when you look at 2 John 10, verses 30 to 36, Jesus speaking to the Jews in the first person where he says, I and my Father are one. Then the Jews took up stones again to stone him. He said, many good works I will show you from my Father, for which of those works do ye stone me? They said, for a good work we stone thee not, that thou being a man maketh thyself God. Jesus answered them, is it not written in your law, I said ye are gods, small g-s, and if he called them gods, unto whom the word of God came, capital G singular, right? And the scriptures cannot be broken. Oh, Psalms 82, verse 1 and 6, God, capital G singular, stands for the congregation of the mighty does of us the gods, small g, O-D-S. Verse 6, I said, ye are gods, small g-O-D-S, and all of you children of the Most High. So what he was saying is that it was like if the Bible would have had the G-O-D-S as a capital G and the singular God with a small g. Okay? That was disturbing to him. And it should have been. All right. If the universe, you okay, brother? Okay. And you know, nothing can strip or overcome or be greater than its source, right?
Right.
I mean, how can a child be realer than its mother? Did you hear what I said? That's not going to happen. Okay. If the universe exists at all, or it seems to exist, it must proceed in some way from all. It must be a creation of all, created as the all, in which things exist. But as something can never come from nothing, okay, and everybody clear on that. So we're not talking about a proof, right? From what could all have created it, right? It was not created, it always existed, because even time would exist in all as a part of the all. Some wise men have answered this question by saying that all created the universe, the all from itself, and that's true. That is, from the being and substance of all, you get the all. But this will not do, for all cannot be subtracted from, nor divided, as we have seen. I mean, actually it can't. And then again, if this be so, would not each particle in the universe be aware of its being? Yes, but as the all in all could not lose its knowledge of itself, nor actually become an atom or blind force or lowly living thing. And that's why the master teacher Nietzsche referred to atom when he taught years ago that all atoms have eyes. I'm talking about the molecular particles, right? This is the job of the all. Some mortals indeed realizing that all is indeed all, and also recognizing that they, the mortals existed, have jumped to the conclusion that they and the all were identical, and they have filled the air with shouts of, I am God, to the amusement of the multitude and to the sorrow of the sages. For this is very true. All is God, and God is in all. The claim of the corpuscle that, I am flesh, would be modest in comparison and limited. But what indeed is the universe? Look at it this way. Unite one verse against oneness. You see the trick in the word? So all is against oneness, or individualism, which is separation into parts, you know, but you're dismembered, right? So we have to remember. If it be not all, not yet created, by all having separated itself into fragments as the all or all things, what else can it be? Or what else can it be made? And what else can it be created or grown? That is the great question, and it's simple. The all is, I am, and I would not be if all wasn't, right? He merely shares and we become. In other words, when you write the book and you put your characters in the book, are you actually creating them, or are you merely sharing and they become? Are you creating them proof? You're getting them from nowhere, creating something from nowhere? Or are you actually just sharing your essence, your thoughts, and your spirit with the sleepy one and the lazy one and the dangerous one? Those are all aspects of your thoughts, of your mind.
That's right.
That's right. So you're not actually creating and bringing any new thing into being. Right? The all is I am, and I would not be if all wasn't. Let us examine it carefully. We find here that the doctrine of correspondence comes to our aid. The old Egyptian axiom, as above, so below, may be pressed into service at this point. But to really say as above, so below, again, as a form of separation, to make you think there is really an above separated from a below. And an example of that is if you have, given by the master teacher, if you have a thermometer with 100 degrees on it, and 100 degrees is hot and 1 degree is cold, what is 50 degrees? Is it hot or cold? Or neither or both? Are you following me? But or a telephone pole that's 50 feet tall and 25 feet up at the middle, so is that the bottom and the other top, or two realities both anchored in the same place? Or just two extremes of the same thing? When you're talking about, for example, temperature, there's no such thing as absolute heat or absolute cold, right? But there's a perspective of it. That's all it is. And you can convert, for example, emotions. When you start talking about what you consider the realm of opposites like love and hate, they're just two extremes of the same motion, aren't they? It's a thin line, in other words, between those two, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you can really commute or transform love into hate or hate into love, but you couldn't do that transform love into courage, because they're two different emotions, and love and hate. Are you following? Is everybody with me? You can't transmute those two. I'm not losing. Am I losing anybody?
No,
Okay. All right. As above, so below may be pressed into service at this point, but to really say as above, so below, again is a form of separation to make you think there is really an above separated from a below. Think for a moment, and you will see right through that trick. It's the same as separating the waters on earth by names, and you begin to accept the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, as two separate masses of water when they are not. And we just gave examples previously that by. Let us endeavor to get a glimpse of the workings on higher planes by examining those of our own, right? You see, there it is again, higher planes. The doctrine of correspondence must apply to this as well as to other problems. Because what happens is when you start talking about planes, they're commonly misinterpreted again, as the master taught, as layers of static piled one above the other, when they're actually intricately woven the vibration, woven together so uniquely you can't tell where one ends and the other begins. So when the white man who has a physical perspective starts talking about airplanes, for example, going up in the sky, he's talking about airplanes that's ascending upward vertically. You see, like that's a ridiculous concept, like building a tower to heaven with bricks. Are you following me? When you're talking about different states, I don't mean like the state of Georgia, the state of Wyoming. I'm talking about different states of vibratory matter, like 10,000 calls existing on one phone wire, where they all vibrate on different frequencies, so that you have to hit the exact number to get me or I you. Are you following me? And optimally that it won't interfere with the other calls, even though sometimes spirits cross, and then you hear people from Canada say, I want to phone, who is this? I don't know, how'd you get here, right? Or you standing in a bright light, and then somebody's having a conversation, you get a sense of deja vu. I've been here before, I heard this conversation before. Because your oversoul reconnects again with the light bulb again, and at that level of your consciousness, you're aware of all things. So that, of the past and the present and here and there and now and then are all the same to you. Right? Right. You see, it's only in the illusion that you have a you and me or a here and there or now and then. You follow? That's just for the characters in the story, something that you wrote. All right? The doctrine of correspondence must apply to this as well as to other problems. Let us see, on their own plane of being, how do mortals create? Well, first they may create by making something out of outside materials. Right? I gave you a personal example before, remember? Of a person driving, what you've done before. You drive down the street and you see an empty corner there with a billboard up and rocks and grass out there and tumbleweed and beer cans, and it has an artist illustration of an apartment complex soon to be renting for $400 for 3-bedroom apartments, $300 for 2-bedroom apartments, etc. And then you drive back by 14 months later, and some of the people that drove by, they picked up the number and the address, went to the office. The woman had a model of the project on her desk. They believed in it. They put a down payment down, signed the lease. When they accumulated enough of this backing of finance, they used that to build the project. And then 14 months later, you drove back by. There was a real apartment complex. There are gates swinging, water sprinklers on, flowers going, kids playing, etc. My question is, where was the apartment complex actually created? In the mind of whoever conceived the idea. You follow me? It was thought up. Well, is everybody with me? Your faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things yet seen, unseen. Through faith, that the worlds were formed by the word of God, so things that are seen were not made by things to appear. You can't see thought because the middle is the creator. But the man or the woman that conceived the idea is where that project was conceived. That's where it was created. And when they believed, when they really had faith in that project, that was the substance that it was made of. The bricks and the mortar and the wrought iron, etc. Or the material, the physical plane, which was, of course, the last stage of the creation process. Because again, you have the thought. That's where it begins. Anything that you can conceptualize, you can visualize. Anything you can visualize, you can conceptualize, visualize, actualize, and materialize, and thereby realize. Right? First is the thought that creates the energy that acts upon and shapes the form of the matter. Is everybody with me? Okay. But this one, let's start here again. I want to make sure everybody's, because let us see on their own plane of being, how do mortals create? Well, first they may create by making something out of outside materials. But this will not do. For there are no materials outside of all with which it may create. But it may be made or shaped and fashioned. Well, then secondly, mortals procreate or reproduce their own by the process of begetting, which is self-multiplication, accomplished by transferring a portion of his substance to their offspring to grow in the womb. But this will not do, because all cannot transfer or subtract a portion of itself. All cannot grow, but all can. But all cannot become less than all and remain all. Nor can it reproduce or multiply itself in the first place. There would be a taking away, and in the second case, a multiplication or addition to all. Both thoughts being an absurdity. Each new thing in all is not new, but was always there. You are not something new as a new outside creation. That's why the real meaning of creation is to grow. You are here, was there, and will be everywhere at all times. What does he mean by that? Remember you said coming at you again from your past through your future? When you're there, when you're all places at all times, and then at some level of your consciousness, you're everywhere at all. That's why sometimes you get flashes of what's happening in the future in 1,000 years. Some people have premonitions about an earthquake in Tokyo, Japan, and it comes true in a month, or an airplane falling, right?
Right.
Because at some level of your consciousness, you're all... Remember I told you about you reading the book and the fly was there, and then the fly is irritating you, so you tell the person next to you, I'm going to put this book down, pick up this fly swatter, watch what the fly does. What does he do? And then when you pick up the fly, put the fly swatter down, pick the book back up, what does he do?
Okay.
He comes back. So the fly's reading your mind, but so are you reading his. You say, watch what the fly does when I do this. Watch what the fly does when I do that. So the fly is reading this one universal mind. And what it is that as long as you identify with the character, the story, the pinhole, and the lampshade, what it is that you deprive yourself of the powers of all which you really are at the blank level of you. The ultimate reality of you is that you are the all. You are all. Yes, I'll do my best.
Okay, what if a group of people are concentrating on the same thing, and it's taking forever to come to manifest itself?
Very good question.
On this plane, and let's say one person or a few people know that it could be. Is it because the other people?
Very good.
Is not quite there.
Very good. I see where you. Very good. You see, you already woke, because the one asking the question knows better than one being asked. The ultimate reality of it is that you don't need, like it says biblically, wherever two or more are gathered, anything, all things are possible, because you yourself, either one of you, as the source creator at a certain conscious level, is capable of creating anything from cups of coffee to universes. Anything.
This thing should already be here.
And you do. That's right. But see, what's happening is when you work with other people that don't share the same thoughts, that what happens is that you have a resistance there.
Because I'm
You felt that you already said it. You answered the question while you were asking it.
Okay.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Now look at you.
I just needed a
Compliment. You wanted me to be a sounding board for you, right?
Yeah, I really wanted to know that.
I know. You looking back to see if I'm looking back to see if you looking back to see if I'm looking. Right. I got you. I'm woke. Okay. All right. you are here, was there, and will be everywhere at all times. You know, a good example again that I gave is that you walk in, you know, in a beautiful sunlit valley on a beautiful day, and the temperature is just right, and then you see, just by happenstance, you walk across a hammock swinging from trees under a shady place with fragrant flowers, and you just stretch out, put your head on the pillow, and relax, and then you get so comfortable that you just fall asleep. While you do, you dream. And you go back to scenes of your childhood. You play on the playground with your friends, and then sometimes you dream about people you never met before, future events that haven't taken place yet, or things in Ohio or in Germany, or you know, some other state in San Diego. And then when all this is happening, ultimately, as the sleeper rises from the dream or from the sleep, as you start becoming conscious, and as the more you become woke, you start realizing that you've been here and you've been this and you've been that, a child and an old person, and you've been this and that in your dream, and with this person and that person over here and over there. But ultimate of it is that your head never left the pillow. It was all happening right there in the center of the lamp and the light bulb. You know, are you following me? There's no here, there, now and then, or them and him and her. It was all going on inside your mind. That's the real temple. It's not a building on the street, but the place on the side of your next to your ears and your eyes, the windows of the soul. The kingdom of heaven is where?
What?
The kingdom of heaven is inside you. It's in you. That's what the Bible says, right? And where do they say God is? Up in where?
Everywhere.
Well, they said he's in heaven. That's a Christian concept, a religious concept. And that God is in heaven, right?
Right.
And then the kingdom of heaven is inside you, so where's God?
God.
That's exactly right. So everything is within you because you're all. You're the all. Are you following me? Right. I want you to feel me now. Okay. All right. Okay. All can create in no other way except mentally. Like I told my mom when I was 7 years old, this is a false world, Mama. All can create in no other way except mentally, and that takes place inside all as it does inside as the all, without either using material, and there is none to use if all is all, or else reproducing itself, which is also impossible. You see, it is, if you see it as creating, making, fashioning, or growing outside of itself, as the fools of religion want you to believe, there is no reason which, as we have said, agrees with the highest teaching of the working mind. Just as you, students of the ancient Egyptian order, may create a universe of your own in your mentality, so does all create universes in its own mentality, in which we are all a part, you know, like a character in the story. But your universe is the mental creation of a finite mind. The all is within it, whereas that of all is the creator of infinite and finite. The two are really one of a kind, but infinitely different in degree. We shall examine more closely into the process of creation and manifestation. First word in that is man, right? And infestation, right? Okay, manifestation, as we proceed. But this is the point to fix in your mind at this stage. The universe and all it contains is a mental creation of all. Verily indeed, all is mental, and the mind and the all are in all. Right? Now, let me see how much. Oh man, I want to go. We got too much of this left to go through, but it's really powerful. Does anybody have any questions right now?
I have a question.
I'll do my best.
I'm going back to what I asked. You said the resistance is there, so is that me resisting me?
No, well, of course, ultimately that is, because there's nobody here but you, right? Because even when you start talking, there's no opposition at all. Even when you're talking about a devil, that's ridiculous. Because the devil part of all, of course. When you start talking about, for example, the realm of the spiritual beings in heaven, right? You got angels. So who created angels in heaven? God. That's a religious concept, right? But also, who created the devil in hell? Who created everything? God, right?
Right.
Okay, so in other words, I'm saying all, by definition, you can't add to it because where would you get it from? You can't take it away because where would you put it? So the question would be, is the devil part of all?
Yes, he is.
Of course he is. So there's really no opposition to all. Are you following me? So whenever you see what you call a devil, even if it's a white man, you it appears to be an exact opposite of you, that's really just an incarnation or your most negative thoughts incarnate or manifested in front of you and opposing you or giving you grief or, as you said, resistance with your project system.
And how do I get around it?
It's not going outside. That's not when you correct it, because that would be like going to the mirror and combing the mirror instead of your hair. It's to make the inner journey. You have to go to where it all starts, where it's created from, and you can't change your condition until you change your mind. First, you have to stop creating the concept that you need other people in order to create your reality.
Control your own reality.
Right.
Okay.
Visualization will help a lot.
Of course it will. And the most common mistake that most people do, again, is that when they visualize something they want to bring to creation, they picture it inside their mind. And the problem with that is the picture has two dimensions, as height and width. But you can't, the three-dimensional reality can't reproduce a two-dimensional object, right? So you have to learn how to visualize something in three dimensions and have it in vivid color, and it's best to have it animated. By that I mean, if you want a brand new refrigerator, sister, don't just see it as an inanimate object standing there, because it's hard for you to keep your concentration. Your thoughts will drift. But if you see something moving in and out of the refrigerator, getting water, putting butter in it, and interacting with the refrigerator, then you can hold the vision. Are you following me? For at least 68 seconds, so that the universe can actually start bringing it into being.
Yeah, the power of thought.
That's exactly right. You create your own reality. We all create our own reality. Today is the reality you created for yourself yesterday and the days previous to that. And when you have a negative existence or result, it's because you're creating by default negatively, right? I mean, there are examples of negative manifestations that you created abundant just by default. In other words, you just sit down and say, let me think of something negative for myself right now, tomorrow. But you have had negative yesterdays, haven't you?
We all have.
You've had negative yesterdays, things that have happened in your past that that wasn't what you call a heavenly day.
What?
Okay, and those are all created by you, but you didn't sit down and purposely aim at to say very devisively, I'm going to sit down and create myself a negative day. So, but you did create that negative reality by default.
Yes, Abraham.
Yes, I love you. It's true. And I'm glad you're listening. And for those of you I've sent out the laws of attraction to, really pay attention like this, sister, and you'll get it. And it's time now for you all to go to the next level so we can open up your awareness and open up the sky with it, okay? So I do have a lot of things for you too, sister, that are light years beyond that.
I need to talk to you tomorrow about a health thing, so I'll call you about that.
You're going to be all right. I'll take care of you. I've just been doing some serious healing around this planet right now. The Most High has been acting wonderfully through me. And you know I'm here for you. Next question. I hope you pulled. Did you turn the thing to what you're not? Is there anything that you're not really clear about? Because it's really important that you understand this stuff, and it's crystal to you. Let me finish it here. But look, I'm not going to try to explain it. I'm just going to read it, okay? It's about 3 pages. The all exists in its infinite mind, countless universes, which exist for aeons of time, and yet to the all, the creation, development, decline, and death of a million universes is as the time of the twinkling of an eye. The all thinks things into being, yet doing this great work as a part of all. The infinite mind of the all is the womb of the universes and finite breathing life in all living things, which is what we were just talking about, right? The all thinks things into being, right? The doctrine of gender is manifested on all planes of life, material, mental, and spiritual. But, as we have said before, gender does not mean sex. Sex is merely a material manifestation of gender, and that's deceiving. For each male is female, and each female is male at conception. We know that even phonetically, because we know female, if you take the FE off, but it spells a lady, if you take off the Y, right, or she, take off the S, or her, take off the R, you know, on and on. Gender means relating to generation or creation, not really which sex are you, and wherever anything is generated or created, On any plane, the doctrine of gender must be manifested. And this is true even in the creation of the universe. You have a male and female plug as far as electricity, right? Now, do not jump to the conclusion that we are teaching that there is a male and female creator. All is not male or female, but in fact, both. The creator being a male, as God or Allah is he who creates, or Elohim, said, let us create man. That idea is merely a distortion of the ancient teachings on the subject. When all of them you find the plural for God, not single. An example is the Bible when it says, let us create man. Now, even the Trinity is a confession, one Father, two Son, three Holy Ghost. Allah has 99 attributes or titles, but he is also a plural in the Quran as Alahiyat. But again, they give this creator a gender, he. The true teaching is that the all in itself is above gender, being both male and female, as it is above every other law, including those of time and space. But of object or thing, we have who was first to deal with. It is the law, from which the laws proceed, and it is not subject to them. But when the all manifests on the plane of generation or creation, then it acts according to law and doctrine, for it is Handu, moving on a lower plane of being, and it is now known as the mother through mitochondrial DNA, and this newfound fact proves all monotheistic religions, Buddhism, Christism, and Mohammedanism, have been wrong. All the time, God is not a he, as scientists have proved it to be a fact, a she, as the ancient Egyptians have been saying all along. At the center of physical creation being Tarat, as the Greeks call her, Thereus, patroness of birth and reproduction, and consequently, it manifests the doctrine of gender in its masculine and feminine aspects on the middle plane. Of course, if she is female, there must be a male doctrine within her to create it from herself, right? So please just hit star 6 so we don't have to hear your background. That's an easy thing, isn't it? That's just like falling off a log. Hit star 6, please. This idea may seem startling to some of you who hear it for the first time, but you've already passively accepted it into your everyday conceptions. You come from your mother's womb, not your father's. Women give birth to the child. She shapes and fashions it in her womb. You speak of the fatherhood of God and the motherhood of nature. God is a part of nature, so God had to be born of a mother. So you created your Jesus Christ story so that God could be born from Mary, his mother. The divine father and nature, the universal mother, is all wrong. The divine who works through nature with this fact and have thus instinctively acknowledged the doctrine of gender in the universe. Is this not so? And the Egyptian teaching does not imply a real duality. All is all, not one. The two aspects are merely aspects of manifestation. The teaching is that the masculine doctrine manifested by all stands wrong in all ways, apart from the actual middle creation of the universe. It projects its will toward you, which may also be called nature, whereupon the latter begins the actual work of the evolution of the universe. From simple centers of female activity onto male, even the word shows male in female, or either we know reproduction of the bole, urethra gland, and the female parthenogenesis. Look it up. When a woman has a baby by herself, I can't think of the word right now.
Immaculate.
Right, I hear you. Something, Genesis, I just can't think of the word. Not the other way around. And then on and on, still high. One of you should know that word by now. All according to somebody look on the in the computer right now and find out what the word is for woman creating on her own. What was that? Okay. Not the other way around. And then on and on, still higher, all according to well-established and firmly enforced laws of divine working through herself as Mother Nature. If you prefer the old figures of thought, you may think of the masculine doctrine as God, the Father, Allah, Adonai, Jesus, Jehovah, Lord, and of the feminine doctrine as nature. But you are now proven wrong. The universal mother is the master key, from whose womb all things have been born. This is more than a mere poetic figure of speech. It is an idea of the actual process of the creation of the universe. But always remember that all is not one, and that in its infinite mind, the universe is generated, created, and exists beyond gender. It may help you to get the proper idea if you will apply the law of correspondence to yourself and your own mind. You know the part of you which you call I, in a sense, stands apart and witnesses the creation of mental images in your own mind. The part of your mind in which the mental generation is accomplished may be called the me, in distinction from the I, which stands apart and witnesses and examines the thoughts, ideas, and images of the me, as above, so below. Remember?
Pathogenesis.
So what is it?
Pathogenesis.
It's parthenogenesis.
Pathogenesis, yes.
Parthenogenesis. When a woman recreates on her own asexual, it's parthenogenesis. Right. Parthenogenesis.
Got it.
Thank you. And the phenomenon of one plane may be employed to solve the riddles of higher or lower planes. Is it any wonder that you, the child, feel that instinctive reverence for all as a part of the all, which feeling we call religion, that respect and reverence for the mother mind?